I am going to go ahead and, like I said, get started on this. I appreciate everybody taking time out of their schedule to join us today for the Sister Lunch and Learn. Um, and with that being said, we're going to, dive right into a couple topics that we have. First of which is the penny plan maintenance that is going to be taking place starting today at 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. in the evening, actually. And then we're going to talk about resolving data matching issues. Um, in terms of some quick updates, just to give you an overview of where we're at right now with regard to with regard to our implementation of the savings for our customers under the American Rescue Plan. We are again following the first of the month rule. So a customer who applies for health insurance on May 31st or June 30th can have health insurance the very next day. In this case, on June 1st or July 1st. But here in the first week of June, we are going to be doing our customer redetermination. And to do that and do it properly, we are going to, um, we are going to, uh, take Penny offline for a time so that we can make sure that all of that goes as smoothly as possible. And that's actually happening today, believe it or not, at 6 p.m. We are going to take Penny off of line for the first time since we launched her, which is, again, it's a necessity that hopefully will provide us with with a lot of jubilation from customers on the other side with regard to the savings that we're trying to make sure gets in their hands as soon as possible. With that, Penny will be offline June 2nd until June 6th, and that's really the purpose of it, is to make sure that we uh, help our customers get uh, as much savings as possible as quickly as they can. This, believe it or not, is not something that healthcare.gov is doing right away. It's something that, as a state-based exchange, it's one of the advantages of having local control in terms of being a state-based exchange. It gives us the opportunity to do this type of thing to help the residents of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania not only get protected, but to do so in a way that's very affordable. So again, please bear with us while we have our downtime. If you visit penny.com or reach out to the customer service center, they'll have information available, and the site will have information available about the maintenance. So please bear with us while we do good work. Speaking of good work, um, resolving data matching issues is a challenging topic because there are so many different issues that pop up with regard to uh, resolving data on a customer's application. So with that being said, the first thing that I would like to do is cut straight to the chase about, as an assister, how you can best how you can best impact and resolve data matching issues. First and foremost, there's a ton of good information on penny.com about not only how to approach resolving data matching issues, but with regard to what types of documents are acceptable. And one of the things that I need to stress is if you're uploading information onto a customer's application for the purpose of resolving a data matching issue, do not hesitate to follow up with the call center, the Penny call center. You can reach out to the assister line at 844-844-4440. If the customer wishes to, manage that process themselves, they can always reach out to the customer service line. But as assisters, if you want to follow up and make sure that everything was done properly. It's never a question that the assister line is the best resource for you to make sure that everything is as it should be. When it comes to defining what are data matching issues and inconsistencies, um, basically, when a customer applies for health coverage through Penny, Penny is required by federal law to verify the information provided on the application. Most of the information is immediately verified by Penny. In some cases, the information provided does not match the information stored in Penny's verified data sources. If you would, folks, please put yourself on mute. That would really help out in terms of the recording.
And then I said to her, could she do that?
There we go. Thank you so much. Also, these types of situations are called data matching issues and inconsistencies. For example, you could have a projected household annual income, resolution issue, customer or citizenship, immigration status issues, issues with American Indian, Native Alaskan status, or issues related to minimum essential coverage. Now, when it comes to what to look for, how do you know? How does a customer know if they, and bear with me 1 second, folks. If you would please mute your line. Thank you. Basically, how do you know if you have a DMI, data matching issue? Penny will inform you of any data matching issue in the eligibility notice you receive after you submit your application or the customer submits their application. This notice will let you know that you need to verify information on your application. It's actually something that will, as an assister, and you'll see here, we're looking at a customer, Dan Thomas's application by way of an assister account, viewing the individual account, as the assister. And you'll see where there's a notification related to household eligibility here for the customer, Dan Thomas. And you'll see where it says this eligibility is conditional, and we're going to look at this in greater detail a little bit later. But again, I can't stress to you enough, if you are advocating on behalf of a customer to get this issue resolved quickly, efficiently, and to get the customer on their way, do not hesitate to reach out to the customer service center or to the assister helpline for that. In terms of documents, what information will you need to verify? In some cases, we need to verify household income, immigration status, citizenship, social security number, having no minimum essential coverage, and there are others that we also, dive into, and we'll cover these here in a moment. But in terms of submitting documents for the customer, what is the quickest, fastest, easiest way to resolve a DMI? There's a strategy to it. Number one, you want to make sure that either as the assister or through guiding the customer, it is done through the customer's dashboard. Okay. And basically the steps are outlined here. The question often comes up, hey Scott, is there going to be a recording of this? Yes, there is. Or hey Scott, can we get a PDF? And absolutely, I'll drop that in the chat before we end. Okay. But long story short, the customer receives that notification, and it's right on their dashboard, and they are able to upload, or you as the assister working on their behalf are able to upload those verification documents to help resolve this DMI, this data matching issue. There is another way that, again, it's an option, so we have to make sure that people know about it. And you can send documents to the Penny Customer Service Center through snail mail. Okay. Please note that it's not the quickest way to get things, resolved, but it is an option. Some people, Given circumstances, it might be the only way they have. And the address is listed here: Penny Customer Service, P.O. Box 2008, Birmingham, Alabama 35203. And again, I can't stress this enough. Reach out to 844-844-8040 to expedite this process. In terms of what you will see as an assister or a customer going into the dashboard, in this case, we're looking at Dan Thomas's eligibility, and his eligibility is conditional. What we know is that there are other documents required to help this customer's application along its way. And when you look at application verification, if you click, going back just for a second, if you click on see more details, what it'll do is it'll take you in where you can actually review the customer's verification issues that they're having. In this case, what we're going to take a look at is we're going to take a look at Social Security. Okay, Social Security card and number as the issue on the application. At the very top, we see that Penny, we could not verify Dan Thomas's Social Security number entered on the application. Okay, if this is correct, please submit verification documents. Well, in the drop-down menu, you'll have the option of clicking on Social Security card. You can select the file from your computer if you scanned it. You'll be able to, choose that particular file and then submit. Okay. Once you submit, at that point, what you will see is you'll see that the document status is submitted, that it is a Social Security card. And, of course, I just have, a bogus file there. But the idea is that once this is submitted, if you have questions, do not hesitate to reach out. Again, 844-844-8040. Verify that everything has been done, at least from the assister and the customer perspective, so that that document can support the verification on that application. Okay, that's why it's important to maintain consistent contact with the call center on this, because ultimately, they help these verification issues along and get people to where they need to be. Now, in terms of what we look for in terms of verification, and this is important because when it comes to certain topics, and we're going to cover a few topics here as we move along, the first of which is, proof of household income. If you have income from a job, what can you provide as verification of that? Of course, paycheck stubs showing employee information, pay date, pay period, gross amount for 4 weeks prior to the date listed on the notice. Okay. Of course, a 1040 federal tax return is always a good document to have on hand. Wages and tax statements. You can also have a signed earnings statement from your employer showing a first name, last name, company contact information, gross pay information, and signed by the employer and dated. Okay. And again, if an important thing to note here is if you're seasonally employed, any of the proofs above should include the information about your duration of employment. So that's something to keep in mind as well. In terms of proof of household income, if you're self-employed, there are a lot of individuals who, because of COVID, they are making that decision to hang a shingle, start a business, work for somebody that takes precedence, which is themselves instead of other people. So that's a lot of people are making that decision now. They're highly skilled individuals. They have good experience. So in that case, self-employment ledger documentation showing first name, last name, company name, and income amount is acceptable. A 1040 SE, 1065 Schedule K1, tax return, bookkeeping records, receipts of allowable expenses, signed timesheets, and receipt of payroll if you have employees. Most recent quarterly or year-to-date profit loss statement is also something that can be utilized if an individual is self-employed. When it comes to Social Security, disability, or retirement benefits, you want to look at something like an award letter or certificate dated within the last year, annual benefits statement, correspondence from the Social Security Administration with your status, whether it's denied, amount awarded, still pending. We can work with this. Okay. Um, Again, with proof of income and in light of COVID-19, there have been a lot of our friends and neighbors uh, who find themselves in workforce transition. If you're, in a position where you're collecting PA unemployment benefits, the good news is that the Department of Labor and Industry recently overhauled their website, and it's very, very nice, very nice. So when you consider unemployment benefits and verification, an award letter or certificate can be had. Monthly benefit statement from the PA Department of Labor. Again, that's something you can access online. Copy of direct payment card with statement. Letter from the Pennsylvania Department of Labor with the reason for denial can also be included in that. But I took a snapshot of the site where, of course, benefit payment information. You can, get benefit payment information. It's not difficult to get that information to have it for verification purposes. Um, Another type of income that folks have is rental income. And again, with regard to rental income, what is acceptable? In terms of DMI, an award letter, a certificate, monthly benefit statement. Well, actually, I take that back. That's an error on that slide, folks. Long story short, there are documents that you can get with regard to passive income that can help. And they are listed. As you can see, there's a link here. It's for a full list of FAQs because there are other sources of income as well. Farm income, investment income, cost of living, adjustment letters, gambling income. There's a whole host of other types of income that you can provide documents for in terms of resolving DMIs. There is a full list available at the link that will be included on the slide deck that I'll share with you. Okay. With that, moving on to immigration status. Immigration status, and this is for immigrant non-citizen or non-immigrant visa holders. Of course, you can use a green card. You can use a temporary green card. Proof of current visa status, and again, that visa status can be, a student visa. There are a lot of different types of visas that'll qualify a person that we can utilize. Proof of resolution in immigrant court. Workers' compensation letter could be included in that. You've also got immigrant non-citizen and non-immigrant visa holder status. You've got other ICE documents that you can have. That could be a confirmation that your application for an immigration status was received. Letters from USCIS, an order of supervision from ICE, other documents from USCIS or ICE that show your current status can also be used. I-94 arrival departure record, an approved immediate relative I-130 petition can also be utilized. And again, here are a few other things that can be utilized. Cancellation of removal, administrative closure, order of supervision, proof that you lived continuously in the United States before 1972. And again, there are there's an exhaustive list available through the Penny FAQs on this. In with immigrant status, you also have battered immigrant non-citizens. And again, this is just a sampling. Documents that you can use, proof or evidence of harm or abuse, proof of relationship with the abuser, proof that you no longer reside with the abuser, reports from courts, polices, judges, medical evidence from a medical professional, clergy, or mental health professional, affidavits from others or other evidence that could support your claims, such as proof of domestic violence, conviction, or proof of seeking safe haven in a battered shelter, marriage certificate, birth certificate. Again, at the bottom, you'll see the link. There's an exhaustive list on the Penny FAQs. In terms of citizenship, again, they're pretty straightforward documents with regard to citizenship. U.S. public birth certificate, consular report of birth abroad, certificate of report of birth, U.S. citizenship identification card, military record showing a U.S. place of birth, U.S. life health and other insurance records showing a U.S. place of birth, a driver's license, of course, school identification card. And again, there's a much larger list available. With Social Security number, and that was the example that we showed with Dan Thomas. You have a Social Security card, a 1040, again, pay stub documentation, Social Security Administration documentation, military records can also provide that type of support. In terms of no minimum essential job-based coverage, you've got a letter or other document from an employer or other document with the information, a statement that the employer doesn't currently offer you or your family member coverage, a statement that the employer doesn't provide coverage that isn't qualifying health coverage, a statement showing the cost of your share of the premium for the lowest cost self-only plan that meets the minimum value standard, factoring in wellness incentives if offered. Health insurance letter that contains confirmation of health coverage and or expiration dates for that coverage received outside of the marketplace. Again, additional topics, and when it comes to DMIs, there are a lot of additional topics that we get into. No qualifying coverage through Medicaid or CHIP, no qualifying coverage through Medicaid, no qualifying coverage through TRICARE, no qualifying coverage through Veterans Affairs, no qualifying coverage through the Peace Corps, proof of American Indian or Alaskan Native status, state residency, non-incarceration. Again, I mention all of this to come back to the point that in working with customers to resolve these issues, there's ample information available at penny.com through our FAQs that really, if you type in data matching issue, there'll be a lot of resourceful information that comes up that'll help you help others resolve these data matching issues. When in doubt, and I mean this, when in doubt, 844-844-4440. Reach out to the Penny call center, and our customer service representatives will be able to help you and the customer get to a better place. With that being said, I want to thank everybody for their time and attention today, and we can open it up for questions if you have questions. All right. Good information. Thank you, Tia. Okay, I'm going to try and hit some of these with regard to, all right, Chachi put in some good information about the planned maintenance topic. Thank you, my brother. That is excellent information for everyone. Penny customer called me. Here's a good question. Penny customer called me today to report unable to get through to the call center. That's interesting. What I would say is try and call again. If for some reason they are unable to reach, try calling the 844-844-4440 number that assisters have access to, and work with them through the assister line on that level. But again, if that's an issue that continues, keep us abreast of it, because to be quite honest with you, and everybody on this call knows this, we find out about we find out about challenges, issues, things that aren't working right by a lot of different channels, but our sister network is typically one of the first to reach out to us and say, hey, wait a second, we've got an issue here. If that's the case, please let us know if that persists. Okay. And all right, Chachi was talking about that. And in my experience as an assister, DMI resolution took 48 hours to 1 week for Penny to review. Even when I've uploaded documentation via my dashboard, has the process been updated for faster resolution? The one thing I will say is this: in terms of resolving data matching issues, um, just like anything else, and I try to remind folks of this, Penny as an exchange, we're 7 months old. Let that sink in for 1 second. We're 7 months old. Um, we are trying every day to improve our ability to resolve not only DMIs, but any customer issue, any assister issue. So please understand that we're doing the best that we can to be as efficient as possible and to get people to a better place as soon as we can. So in terms of DMIs, some DMIs, and that's part of the reason why I emphasized being able to engage the assister line and the customer service center, uh, again, just to make sure that from an assister and customer perspective, you have done everything you need to do. My concern is that you and your customer have taken everything as far as possible to make sure that when we receive that information, we can make that rapid, that rapid decision and get things back to where it needs to be. If follow-up is, if follow-up is needed, please don't hesitate to reach out for follow-up. I know that we do the best we can to get them resolved as quickly as possible. Jesse had a question here. I've noticed when we've uploaded docs for consumers, we'll get an inbox message for a ticket and often another when it's resolved, which we can confirm in the customer's dashboard has no more DMI, but the message doesn't contain information about who it's for or what has or has not been resolved. Can these be improved in the future? Jesse, that's a very, very good suggestion. And again, those are things that over time, yes, we will be able from a platform perspective, we will be able to make fine-tune adjustments to our platform to make sure that general messages that go out don't find themselves in a position where they're confusing for the customer or the assister. Okay. All right. Let me see here. Okay. Thanks, Scott. Okay. Everybody, thank you so much. Those were all the questions that we had. Please, if you would keep your eyes open. Oh, I promised everybody that I would be sending the and I will drop it into the chat as soon as I can. I will get the chat uploaded with the PDF of today's presentation. Of course, we will make sure that the recorded copy gets out to everyone. And with that being said, I'm going to stop recording. I'm going to wish all of you a safe and happy week. And please, whatever you do, keep rocking the way you are, because you guys are awesome. Have a good afternoon.